No one?
Just in case.
All right,
Okay.
is that, yeah?
Good now.
Okay, okay. Welcome, everybody. I guess I just want to open with, roll call.
Lori?
Yep, I'm here.
Evelyn?
Yep.
Dave?
Yep.
Bill?
Yep.
Lynn?
Yes.
And I'm here absent, Kathy, Julia, and Chris.
Okay,
But I'm here.
and Lisa's here.
And Lisa. Sorry.
Do I count as member or treasurer? Both.
You're public, but treasurer. Do you want to sit over here?
Negative.
Okay.
Member.
All right, so, you want to accept the minutes of September 11th board meeting?
So moved?
All in favor?
Yep.
Motion passes. Public comment?
No?
Okay. President's report. So I think you all got the email, many items in the purview of the board. On a regular cadence, we'll do the officers meeting and send out updates to the board. If you want to talk about anything that's not on the agenda that came in that update, we'll do it in new business. Everything's always open for discussion. But a lot of the things we're going to talk about, will, like for instance, job description. So that'll be in the agenda when we get to that. So just the fact that we talked about it, you can bring up anything you want in the business, but eventually all the things will pretty much wind up on the agenda of what's happening in the officers meeting. And then just, you know, as came from everybody, and I know Phil said at one point that somebody asked him if we could raise our hands or something to gain acknowledgement on the floor so that we're not talking over each other. If we could do that, that would be great, because listening back to the audio, we're still doing it. It's really hard to hear. So if we could just try to do that, I think that would be great. And that's really all I have to say. So, do you want to go into the financial reports? And Lynn, would you like to do the tax collector report for us?
I have a report and I'll hand it over to our treasurer, Lisa. It is as of 10/8, but there have been no changes. We still have an outstanding of $5,836.22 in tax, $347.29 in interest. That's a total of $6,183.51. I have sent formal demand letters out to everyone who's on the list who owes us, who has an outstanding bill. Formal demand is something that you need to do. At some point, I'm going to put together a list that we can consider either for procedures or for bylaws to start cementing what are the dates that things happen for tax collectors so that we know what the expectation is. But now that I have sent the formal demand, that means traditionally we've sent people into collections starting December 1st. I'm still in favor of doing that. We have a 100% collection rate on prior years. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's substantial.
It is. And frankly, I'd like to keep it there.
So, question, do we follow
We can't follow what the town does with taxes, right? Because they do twice a year.
Correct. The town does do tax twice a year. What I do, however, is once things go into collection, I coordinate that with Denise Dill at the town, because very often the people who owe us also owe her. So we sync it up just to make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay. Thank you.
How long do we give them before we would put them into collections?
So the bill was due July 1st. They have 30 days.
Yep.
I put them in collections 12/1. So I don't give them long.
I thought it was due August 3rd.
That's the last day before interest is due. If they're past that date,
Okay,
they owe us 2 months worth of interest. That interest goes retroactively.
gotcha.
So they have a 30-day grace period to pay.
Which would bring them to August 4th.
It did this year because of the weekend and where the holiday fell.
It was 3rd or 4th, right? One of those.
It was 4th this year.
September, October, November, and then December 1st, you're saying?
But the demand letter went out
Okay.
2 weeks ago saying, if I don't get your money by the end of October, I'm going to be sending you to collections, and this is what it means. Which means that you will owe us the tax, the interest, attorney's fees, lien fees. There's a long list of things by statute that they then owe us. That worked pretty well for Ed Bader last year. And I'm anticipating it should work pretty well this year. Fingers crossed.
So it keeps us functioning.
Yeah.
Financially. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lynn?
Yep.
Lise, want to give us the treasurer's report?
So they were posted to the drive. If anybody has any questions, I can field those questions. I do. I am gonna talk to Julia about the Hayfield Biodetention Basin balance. I understand they're waiting on a sign. So I want to ask her about that sign.
You
And then,
mean, you don't mean Julia, you mean,
did I say Julia?
yeah,
I meant Corinne.
that's who I thought, yeah. Just checking.
No, I meant Corinne. Julia and I were talking about it a few weeks ago, that's why. Anyway, yes, Corinne, I'm gonna ask her about that, because I know that she was looking into having a sign made for that biodetention basin. It's supposed to be, I think in some manner, thanking somebody for the grant money,
It's actually writing what's on the sign that's there now. There's the paper sign that's there.
whatever it is. I don't really care what it says. The money's here. It should be spent on what's supposed to be there. So I'm gonna try to look for that. Additionally, we've been carrying this balance for a South End Lake Hayward sign for about 2 years now, at least.
Longer.
So that's $3,000 that I can't put that back anywhere. That has to be spent on a sign. It was voted on by the membership. So I think, I'll try to look back in the books to see where that other sign was made. At least we can probably get a lead on which direction to go to get something to match. Do you have input?
I've called them many a times. I've called other sign makers.
They don't want to do it.
I don't know if everybody's just busy or if everybody, it's Carreran.
I think it's the C word. I mean, yes, there's a C.
Yeah, but Carrero, I think it is. Camaro signs.
Okay, anyway, that's, as far as when I look at these reports, those things glare at me that they can be cleaned up, or, at least we could talk about them again about. But anything else, does anybody else have any other questions about the budget versus actuals or the cash flow?
Nope.
I've got one.
Yep.
So just to confirm that, so that $194 that showed up on the attorney's bill.
Yeah.
So he's gonna credit that.
So you're gonna see it in the next budget, because right now he's gotta get the check to say, yep, I did pay it. And he's going to credit back to me, and at which time I'll debit your expense account.
Okay, thank you
So
very
it
much.
will, it'll zero out. It might not do it before the next BDA. You might see it on the BDA, but it's all set.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you for following up on that.
And so if that's,
Narrow signs.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where are they located?
Griswold. Okay. They have two offices. in Griswold. I have no idea. There's two of them.
Yeah, that's
I'll try
been
to
hanging out there for a while.
get many, many years.
2019, I think, 18 or 19. It's been a while. So when I came on the budget committee, it was old then.
Right. That was with the basketball too. Basketball part.
Yeah.
So I got that done, so. Slowly but surely, we get these 10-year projects done.
I was able to take the basketball court off though, because you closed that project.
Yeah.
And then there was like $700 we were able to put back.
Yeah.
So if nobody has any questions, I'm through. Finished. And if anybody sees anything else on the agenda I need to stick around for, I will, but if you don't, I'm going to. You go.
I have one question.
Sure.
The $500 assistant secretary stipend, that, was that ever given?
Yep.
Rachel?
Yep.
Okay.
Off of the last fiscal year's budget.
Right.
When did she get that check, Lisa? Do you know?
When?
Yeah, approximately.
It
Approximately, like,
had to be within the month of June. So because
Oh, okay.
I closed it by June 30th and used that fiscal year's
gotcha.
because our budget was so.
Right. Okay. No,
Yeah.
just curious.
So no, it's that right now, but that's
So
still there.
that's still populated.
In this fiscal
For this
year,
year.
it's there.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it. All right. So really, if you want me, if there's anything coming up on that agenda that you're gonna have questions for,
I have any questions or anybody else? Thank you.
I'll snore at you. I've been up since 1. Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay. Bylaws. We all agreed, that we want to make bylaw changes, and that there's bylaw changes that need to be made. So we obviously need a committee, and those are all done during the winter, so that, I'd like to send out an email blast, requesting bylaw committee volunteers, and see what we get back, but I'd like to do that ASAP, as we're nearing holidays and so forth, just to get people on board.
Do we have
Right.
anyone from the board who wants to be on that committee?
Excuse me, Lori.
Yes.
Colleen Sokolowski.
Yep.
She very interested in being on that committee.
Yeah, I did hear that, yep,
Okay.
and, there was somebody else too, but yes, I know Colleen was interested.
Yep.
I figure I'll reach out to her, but I'm gonna put it out to the membership too,
Yeah, that's fine.
and,
She'd be a real plus on that committee.
I think so too, I agree.
All right. Thank you.
And I know Dave, and so the other thing is, if anybody has anything in mind, like Dave, you wanted to talk about like changing the Lake Hayward days,
The carnival, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Just,
So if anybody has anything that's on their mind,
So I have a question for the board. And I've mentioned this tax preparer. There are procedures and things that need to happen for tax collector. But I'm not sure, I know we have some mention of things in the bylaws, but should it be on bylaws or should it be a procedure that we follow?
I think it's more of a procedure, and the board creates that.
Okay,
So I think that I think that, I mean, collectively, and we should all agree, but,
I see everyone nodding.
right.
That's my first thing.
The procedures, I mean, sometimes, Lynn, right, as we know, things change, so forth. We could note that and put it in the bylaws, but I think it's better if we keep it so that the board can have a better ability to change, revise, update.
Mhm.
And maybe we can write in the bylaws, refer to, yeah,
And then refer it to the procedures. That makes better sense to me. Because I know we've got a couple of things in the bylaws now, including that $3 waiver, which I think is good. But for example, according to the statutes, this is, you go to class, this is only the bad thing. But according to the statutes, if someone overpays,
Mhm.
they need to formally request. We shouldn't be just voluntarily reimbursing. So there's ways we can do that. Like if someone overpays, I can send them a form. And then if they send it back, we can send them their overpayment back. We're not supposed to be voluntarily reimbursing.
We just keep the money.
If they don't request it within a year, it goes into general fund.
That doesn't seem very fair.
Oh, does that
And
happen
yet,
often?
it's by Connecticut statute. There's formal statute on it.
But typically people, you would think, look at their bill when they
Right.
write out the check.
You would think, but I've had Lisa do 4 or 5 reimbursements this year. So, like I said, if it's procedure, great, because I'll start drafting, and then at some point we can get it on the agenda. And then that won't go into the bylaws, but then what I will look is for the bylaws to refer to.
Yep.
The procedures.
Yep.
Okay.
I like that.
I don't know enough about the bylaws. I do know if I overpaid, I'd want my money back. Right.
I think sometimes it happens too, Lynn, when people think they might owe interest, they just tack on an amount
They do.
so that they just figure they're covering,
And sometimes it's more.
yeah.
I know. But I can send them a form, proactively send them a form. They, fill it out, send it back to me, we'll cut you your check.
Kind of like a
That shows
checklist.
better.
Yes.
That way there's a,
That way, that's exactly right. It's all about the trail.
Anything else on bylaws? Okay, so I'll send out an email blast on that
So that's for new members or
to form a committee.
a brand new one? So we had one before, so.
Yes, we had one before. So what I like to do, and I don't know how everybody else feels, but I do always like to go back to the people that were on it to try to get somebody that was already on it, so they have some kind of,
Context and history.
yes. So I would do that first and see if somebody, and then, but you still put it out to the association. And I think, where it says will appoint so many, your quorum is fine, but like we did on the budget committee, we had 5 instead of 4. And I think if you've got more people, great. Yeah. So I'm all for it. How do you feel about it, Dave?
That's fine. Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. So anything else on, so if anybody has something they think about, like with bylaws and like Lynn just did, if you want to send an email or whatever so that we could start a list of them, just to put it in the committee's purview. That would be great. Okay, moving on to budget. Same thing, basically. Budget committee. Lisa and I were on the budget committee, but there's still 3 other people that aren't here or aren't on the board. So yes, I'd like to reach out to them, see if they would like to be on the budget committee still and or chair the budget committee. It's a process that's in my opinion, a learned process. So it's nice to get someone to come back to chair it, that's been through it. So I'd like to send an email blast, requesting volunteers for that too. Does anybody have anything, on that or commentary, suggestions? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Communications newsletter.
Okay, so we all know a mistake was made last year, May, actually, with the communication stipend. And Lisa just confirmed that the assistant secretaries was paid.
Right.
I later found out that a collection was taken, contributions from our members to subsidize that stipend, which to me is totally inappropriate. It's a blatant manipulation of a board decision that was made to give her the $500 stipend, to give Rachel. I think I kind of have a compromise to help with that this year. Rachel, Gary Cohen does the newsletter, but Rachel kind of makes it pretty. Right?
Yes, yeah, Gary gathers all the content. He, all the information goes to him, except for like we had mentioned, at the very end, if there was something that came in really late and Rachel already had the final draft, she would add it in, but Gary does the whole formatting. Let me step back on the formatting, Evelyn. Gary does all the content.
Yes.
And then Rachel will correct and or adjust formatting.
With that, I think that the newsletter stipend of $1,000 should be split between Gary and Rachel.
So,
Or do we even know if Gary is still going to do the newsletter? Is Rachel willing to continue doing what she's
It's
doing?
not a matter of names now, matter of the position, what you want to do.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand where you're coming from, but I just
So-
think that
well, the reason why it is kind of names, Phil, and I agree with you, like as far as the stipend goes,
Yeah.
but the reason why it's kind of names is because of the
They're both doing the same thing,
talent
kind of.
of the volunteers, or,
when I said names, I mean names of Rachel and
well,
I'm
yes.
not saying name the name of the stipend.
No,
I'm just-
I'm actually
Right.
going backwards and using Rachel and Gary because in particularly, the two of them worked a little differently than we usually do with the newsletter. And should they stay on, we actually have to talk about their names because
Right.
normally,
Yeah, no, it's
normally the newsletter is done by one person and, but Rachel, she did do the formatting a little bit. And then she also printed and put the copies in the kiosks. So, they worked good together. And the other thing I want to say about the two of them was, as far as time constraints went, I mean, I was proofing at 11 o'clock on Friday night for a Saturday morning newsletter. So to me, that was great that they were able to still go that far and wait for people to submit and what have you. The issue was with the webmaster who needed it by Wednesday if we were to put it there and set the link. That's a whole different story. But for me, I thought it was great that they still had the, they didn't have strict cutoffs for us. We could still add stuff. However, I know Gary does want to return. I do not know if Rachel wants to return. So therein might be the difference of them.
If she doesn't return,
Then we have to
then we
figure
need
out.
somebody else because the newsletter guy can't do what she's doing.
Correct. Well, and then the constant contact too, which,
She does that.
right, which, I think updating constant contact, it's really not, it's not hard. And I'm not condescending anybody or anything. I'm just saying it's not a huge time consumer.
I just don't want to see this happen again. I don't want to see our members ask for more money than what they're already giving.
Right.
And I think it made us look bad. It
You,
made
yes,
us look
you are
bad.
entitled to your
It's my
opinion.
opinion.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion,
It's
and we
been
know that.
all over Facebook.
What's been all over Facebook?
Thank you for contributing because the
Thanks.
board didn't step up. That's been on Facebook.
We shouldn't care about what's on Facebook.
I
Hey,
shouldn't,
and
but
I-
everyone reads it.
But
And
it still
I
makes,
understand that, but you
It's
know,
not,
that's drama. It's all that is.
I get it.
but it made us look bad. We made
It
it,
make me look bad because I don't care what they say.
still that whole thing made us look
So it's
bad.
better
And
to
it's not
figure it
helping with
out.
our unity. It's not helping us try to be
Right.
concise as a board.
so how about we do this, Evelyn? Can we agree with this? Let's leave it in the past. Let's move
That's
forward.
what I'm trying to do.
No, I know, and I'm not trying
Trying
to.
to come up with a compromise
Right.
so that communications gets something and the newsletter editor gets something.
Yes, Lynn.
So when will we know whether or not Rachel's coming back?
I've been reaching out to her. To no avail. So I will let you know. I'm on it.
I mean, it's not something that needs to be done right now.
Correct. And maybe we might, as a board, say, okay, we're gonna take communications and make it this.
Mhm.
Because we don't even really know that. It was kind of like a,
Lori, excuse me. Does this have to be a bylaws change? Because
No.
does it mention stipends in the bylaws?
no,
Where is it mentioned?
does what meant, wait, I'm sorry.
It's stipends in general, okay? Who
Yeah.
gets what? Is that mentioned in the bylaws? Is that where we get the rules from? If it's mentioned in the bylaws, then what you're proposing, I'm not against, but it needs to be a bylaws change.
No, it's not mentioned in the bylaws at all.
Okay, well, then that's fine then. I'm just making sure it's not.
Actually, I'm sorry, Dave. In the agenda, we're on communications and newsletter.
Yeah.
That's right, but you're talking about changing or discussing if changing of a stipend. If that's mentioned in the bylaws,
Right,
that needs to be addressed. That's all I'm
agreed.
saying.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay,
And
that's fine then. Just making sure.
since I've, when I came on board and with the budget committee, I don't know before that, but I know that year we asked, is that in our purview? And that was, I want to say that was Cindy's first year, the past president's first year. And the budget committee was told that was part of the board. So there's nothing in the bylaws that says who needs to decide or what have you. It's the board that kind of decides financial policy. And to me, that's kind of financial policy.
On stipends.
Yeah,
But you say financial policy, that's.
well, that's financial,
Policy
the
on
stipends
stipends.
are financial
You got the joke right,
policy.
that's right.
Yes.
Right. That's what I'm just.
Yes.
Okay, so you have not heard from her. So we may need to find somebody else.
Which may be a good time to reconfigure what we think is communications and the duties of communications, because it's kind of, we did get a little, we accommodated the volunteers we had. So, and I am calling them volunteers. I know they get a stipend, but they're still volunteers.
Once
So,
we get that set, figure out who is doing it, I volunteer to proof it
thank you.
before it goes to print for
Thank you.
content.
Thank you.
And I volunteer to take over constant contact. I get the property owners' sheets anyway, and I need to have correct addresses for purposes of sending out tax bills. So I'm happy to take that on.
So do you want to take on like updating all that? Because sending out the blasts are, like I said to Evelyn, when I get something and they say, can you send out a blast? For me to type what I'm going to have whoever do takes longer than it takes for me to create the blast. I've been doing the blasts. So,
I'm happy to do that.
so the blasts are easy. I mean, I don't mind either. So we can both,
I'd be very happy to take that on as part of
Great.
constant contact.
great, okay.
So we don't need Rachel anymore?
Not for constant contact. I mean, updating and Lynn, do you know have you worked in it at all?
I have two experts that I work with.
Yep.
Who would take me on Teams and take me through it.
All right, because I can show you, I can sit with you
It's
too.
great. I'll take anything I can get.
Okay.
So can I just clarify, Lynn? So you've just agreed to take on constant contact. Everything that Rachel was doing with constant contact is now
Yes, so
transferred to you.
updating the contact information that's part of our Rolodex, if you will.
Yes, yeah,
And that includes the ability to send out the email blasts because that's, a facility through constant contact.
Thank you.
So now we're saying, what we're saying is Rachel is done. We don't need Rachel.
well, if Rachel contacts me, if she returns I've contacted her several times, or I've
Right.
tried, and maybe she's out of the country, I don't know.
Right.
So I really would like to have a conversation with her first. So Lynn, it's nice to know, let's talk to her first. And,
So does she have like the first right of refusal?
yeah, I would think so.
But then you have a backup plan.
Yes,
Backup's good.
yes.
No,
No.
no.
So what
I
Evelyn's
will not do the
volunteering,
newsletter. I will not
Right.
fix the newsletter.
That's what
I
I
will
mean. You gotta be
we
careful what
will
we're doing
prove
here.
I will
her
prove that
content
to make
only.
sure there isn't inappropriate content.
So so Evelyn, I also made sure the dates were right,
Yes,
like I
I'll
compared it to
verify the
events.
dates with
Yeah,
whatever is on the calendar and the times. That
right,
I will do.
With the constant contacts, did I hear that the information is not right? Is that sounded like something, the addresses or something is not
So when someone
Bypassing the
sells,
middleman.
their property,
right.
the addresses change.
Right.
Or sometimes people will change their permanent address, and that may come through a property owner's
Mm-hmm.
sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So that you update that information in constant contact.
so in constant contact, we also have triggers, Phil.
Mhm.
So a trigger will be, are they a voter? Are they not a voter?
Right,
Are they a registered voter? So you could pull up voters, print out the sheet for check-in, voila.
Mhm.
It's customizable, what you can put for, it's a really neat tool.
Mhm.
It's a really great resource.
Well, you do, and I think it'll give me an opportunity. If I get it, then if I end up with that, I'll reconcile it against the tax roll and make sure that things sync up.
Perfect.
So
So,
those are the same lists that are used when we have association meetings too.
Yes.
So that would
Well,
be good.
I don't know if Kathy's pulling right from there yet. I don't think so. I think it's a list that she derived from
Carolyn Kress.
Carolyn
I've given her a
and
list too.
so what Rachel was supposed to be doing was going on, because sometimes East Haddam, and correct me if I'm wrong, but East Haddam, when there's a new resident or so forth, or someone changes address, they change it in East Haddam and then you get it?
Eventually.
Right. So what we were trying to have Rachel do was go on the tax site of East Haddam and pull up the names of people and confirm. So when I reached out to her, I wanted to know how far she had gotten and what she had done. And I'm hopeful that I will speak to her soon.
But it's good to know that was part of what you asked, because that's, I
we
know
have
how
to- yeah.
I know how to get that from the town clerk.
So, so eventually, the mindset is, Lisa, that yes, we click a button and we click on, registered voters and print that out and
And who has Who has access to?
And we are, the whole board does.
You
Yeah, you go on passwords and it tells you the password for constant contact.
never looked at anybody else's passwords.
No, there's
No,
a,
we have passwords for the,
I know, I've never looked
on
at
the
it.
drive,
I've
there's
never looked at that.
passwords. Yeah.
I haven't had enough time remembering my passwords.
I have a manager, password manager. Can't remember it. So, so obviously we gotta revisit. But this was good conversation, I think.
It's, you know, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
When we get to that point, I don't know if the board has to vote on it, but once we find out who's doing what,
Yeah, let's, we'll revisit that.
my 2 cents. So I was gonna give you my last 2 cents here that you're having trouble getting in touch with Rachel now. Everybody understands. And she even apologized to me after like a week and said, listen, I get it. She's in school.
Yes,
You know,
yep,
she's busy.
Yep.
But it sounds to me like it makes more sense for the constant contacts to come here because who's proofing Rachel?
Me.
What?
I was
Well, if you're proofing her and you're asking, you don't know how far she's been.
not proofing her constant contact. It was proofing the newsletter.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about constant contacts.
Nobody can proof it. There's no one to proof it. That's what she was doing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, no, good question though, but that's what she was doing. She was actually, well, we think she was, I mean, I really don't know.
that's what I mean. This is
So she's supposed to have been comparing the people on the list, 439 or something. Comparing people on the list with the tax roll, the East Haddam tax roll.
it sounds like Lynn has a better handle on it.
Well, what?
It would have, Lynn, our tax collector would have a better handle on the constant contacts than a volunteer, I would assume.
Well, so I think the mindset was that she was going to sit there and do this, you know, and update it.
Right,
So I don't know.
right.
I don't know.
Okay.
So when we find out, we'll find out. At some point, you know, like I said, she could be out of the country.
Right, yeah, no,
I really don't know.
it's gotta be very time consuming, very kind of like an admin type of task to do
Right.
that. Necessary
Yeah.
and needed, but
First time through takes a while.
Yep.
But once you're reconciled, the updating doesn't take that much.
Right.
We just
Right.
don't have that many properties turning.
and I
Right.
think when I met with Kathy, she was pretty comfortable with what was there too. So between Carolyn Press and what Kathy did. I think
But
she
that's
felt
on that
pretty
other
comfortable.
list.
that's,
That's on the sign-in list that's not from Constant Contact.
Right, but I think
Um,
she did some comparisons.
Oh. Well, we'll have
I'm
to,
not speaking for that. I can't speak
Yeah.
for Kathy. Sorry.
yeah, I think it's I think she did that separately. And I'm not speaking for either, but I'm pretty sure that was a conversation we had, that it wasn't.
It is a separate list. There's definitely.
Right, and
something
it
there.
wasn't from Constant Contact yet because we weren't comfortable with Constant Contact was where it needed to be.
Got you. Okay.
That's my thought.
Okay.
But we can ask Kathy for sure. Okay, are we comfortable with communications and newsletter right now? Well, obviously, we need to talk
yeah,
about
no,
it.
yeah,
again.
it's agenda item.
Yeah.
To be-
To be,
I just had to say my piece.
it'll be, you know, unfinished business going, but thanks, Evelyn. Dave, do you have anything on the dam?
No, I do not.
Okay. Events, I think we're okay, right? Does anybody have anything? Geese?
No geese. I think we're going on what, 2 weeks? No
Thanks,
geese.
Lynn.
Thanks, Evelyn.
She walks her dog at 6:30 in the morning, and if there's geese, she texts me and I get in. Her dog chases them off the beach. And then I get my remote control boat and
Good team.
go and
2
chase them.
weeks. 2 weeks, no geese.
Good
And going.
Is that unusual for this time of year?
Yes. I was just as a side note, I was in New Britain today. City of New Britain spent $300,000 to have the geese removed from all their ponds
Oh, yeah, you were telling me.
2 years ago. I was there today. There was 60 geese.
Count of 60 years.
So I called Nutmeg Farms and I said, so does it do any good to do what they had done, having them removed? And she said, yeah, but you have to stay on it. Because what happens is they're going to relocate. Geese from other areas will come in and say, ooh,
It's a body of water.
Yeah,
there's
no one's doing
nobody
anything
eating the
to me.
grass here. There's no competition.
They're waterfowl.
So, yeah,
It's their habitat.
yeah. So we're good. So spring.
Awesome. But I did suggest to Evelyn, we talked, and I said, maybe you should try to recruit somebody else that will go around the lake. Or even, just putting a branch out there, but maybe somebody from the east side so they can monitor their side.
I have tried.
Really?
I have tried. I had the meeting with Lynette, inviting.
No,
the
I know
east side.
that.
One
I
person
know.
came and left halfway through.
I know.
I have driven around and given out red bandanas to 6 people. 2 of them helped me. I don't even think you have a red bandana.
Yeah, I do. You gave me
Okay.
one.
And the other ones aren't here that often.
Well, maybe in the spring, a blast, and maybe not even just dogs, somebody patrolling. Hey, Evelyn, I'm going out at 10 a.m. I'm a 10 a.m. or whatever it is, somebody that walks all the time or something that could text you and say, here they are, whatever.
I'm always willing to keep trying.
Mhm.
I have low expectations. People prefer to take a picture and send it to me. Rather than
Well, even
getting
that,
out of your car for 5 minutes.
like at least then you're not patrolling and they're there. You know what I'm saying? Saves you gas, saves you whatever you do. I know you do a lot of patrolling.
I do.
So that helps. Like if someone
Drive
sees
every
them,
day.
right?
Hemmer was great too. Hemmer would
And he'd probably still.
message me and let me know. So I did have my few that I could count on.
I bet you Hannah would still do it if we
Yes.
asked him.
Yeah, he would. He walks in the morning, so yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
so spring or February.
Is it worth an email blast to ask folks, or would you
Spring, I
not
think,
quite
yeah.
trust that?
Not yet.
Spring maybe, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general.
I
or
mean,
is that something that you would-
I got all the volunteers, and then when they weren't,
volunteering.
well, they never really started because you can't. There's a certain point where you can't harass them when they're molting.
Mhm.
And when they started to molt, I sent everybody an email and said, okay, now is the time. Please let me know what time you're available and which beach. Not one response. Not one,
Do they live here?
yes. Not year round, but they're here. So we will try again in the spring.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an early person. So I'm gonna get them around 6:37. And I hit all the beaches.
Maybe we can find somebody else that regularly walks. I have a couple people in mind that, if they regularly walk, just even if they sent you a text
Me.
saying, here they are. or
You
whatever.
kept saying that, please don't email me, because I don't.
No,
look
not
at my
email,
emails
text.
at 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
but I will hear a text.
Yeah.
Well, he would text me through his email. I don't know how he did it. But he would text me through the emails.
Mhm.
He's trying.
He did.
Made for effort.
He did.
And so what would you have to do? You drive wherever they
Get
tell
up.
you? And then what?
Go down and harass them.
With a remote
With
control.
my remote control speedboat. I will
Oh
show
my
you a
God.
video.
It's on the Facebook
Because,
page.
Well, yeah, Lisa took one. She took one at 6:30 in the morning with the crowd and this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm not
that
playing with the boat anyway.
spring blast. How's that? Lake quality, everybody got the email from Corinne?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Treatment on the 25th. She still wants us to wait on the blast. Okay with that?
Still need that. They came out and tested a couple weeks ago. I saw them. And I think that's why they're treating again. But I still think the north end of the lake needs to be dredged, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up.
So we got to talk to Corinne at some point and see what,
I think she was looking into some money
yes, yeah.
for that.
So I'm waiting for her to contact us again to say, okay, go ahead with it. She said to wait on the blast. So. And yes, it was the north end. They're gonna do the north end.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Nominating, we don't really need that now. Properties.
I'll be finishing up this week, closing the lake up, putting everything away. I'll be back up here on the 16th, removing any vessels that are on our property. I didn't hire. I have 4 electricians out looking to put in ceiling fans in the pavilion. People have been requesting it. I'm hoping it's a little bit more involved because there's those 2 spotlights that we have up there. If you put the fans below it, you're gonna have a
Strobe light.
So it's not just ceiling fans. We'll be taking those 2 lights out, putting 2 fans there, and possibly 4 lights on each side of the fan. I had a dimmer switch because I don't want a big Chevy Chase Christmas down there for lighting. But I will keep up to. I just started right before I went on vacation, and I'll keep you updated as time goes on. So
Cool.
One guy did get back to me with a price of $5,600. I don't think it's bad, but we'll see. All right. So
I guess it depends on what's involved.
that's the whole job. The 4 lights and 2 ceiling fans with the controls going into the events closet. Not here. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
Well, she asked.
Well, right. No, it will have the controls going into the events closet instead of the other closet because that's
Because it would be an event. Right.
it's an event. They could use the fans or not use the fans or lights or whatever. So
That's great.
It gets hot under there when there's fans.
It just gets hot under there
Yeah,
sometimes.
the ceiling fans.
people have been asking for it, and I mean, I'll just once I get the information, I'll bring it to the board, and if you want to do it, you do it. If not, we don't do it.
But these aren't normal size ceiling fans. They're bigger than,
They're drop. I
right?
think you're
They're
getting
bigger than that.
pendant
They'll
fans, right?
come down 3 to 4 feet.
Yeah.
They'll come down.
Okay.
But again, it's all relative now because the one guy gave me a price of $9,000 per fan. I laughed at him, and he laughed too. But I mean, like I said, it's just I'm in the infancy stages of getting this done.
Mhm.
So
Maybe it'll scare those birds away.
I'm sure
Yeah, or they'll get a ride.
I'm sure it will. So,
It's a carnival.
so other than that, everything is good.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I'll start.
Nope. No questions.
I'll start checking out First Beach to see who's still got their boats there and the one down by me.
There's still a lot on.
So there's still a lot. I mean, they got they still have a month to do it.
I know.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll start.
You know they're gonna wait till the last minute, the same ones.
You know, I'll put a.
I do, because I'm always like, I'm gonna go. I
Right.
leave them down there, but I get them.
I will start putting it out on the Facebook page, and I will put news blast out starting probably in another week or 2. So to get it going. So and we're all in agreement. The boats will go down like I did last year. Put them down in
Second beach,
Second Beach. If they're there in the springtime,
free for all.
free for all, and if not, we throw them out. I mean, there's no garbage. There has been since I put that fence up down on the baseball field. There's been no garbage down there at all. So it's working, and it's not locked, but
You
it's
need to use the boat launch instead.
well, yeah, well, at least we get that out of here. And we there was an issue, I guess, within the last couple of weeks about a chair being stolen on First Beach, or taken, not stolen, taken on First Beach. We have in our rules and regulations that they're not supposed to leave their chairs or flotation. They're not supposed to leave anything on the beach. was taken home with them. Next year, I would like to really enforce that rule. And not for just a few special people. I mean, it's hard. You guys help me with it, because like I said, it's crazy,
Yeah, I tried taking my float home. Told me I
I
couldn't.
know
Lori,
Dave, go ahead,
yeah,
Dave.
that's good. What I've been doing on Second Beach is if people leave stuff laying around, if it's there one day, okay. If it's there for a couple days, I pick it up and I put it up by the road. If somebody steals it, I don't care. You're not supposed to leave your stuff at the beach.
I do the
It could be
same.
chairs, it could be floats, there's all kinds of, there was a guy, at one point, a guy had a grill he left down there. So we're not there to pick up after them. My opinion is, if you leave it there, it's gonna go by the road.
We do the same thing on Third Beach.
Okay, good.
Between Bill, Steve Percival, and myself. Because otherwise, how do you clean the sand?
Right, and plus it's gonna end up looking like a dump. We don't want that either. So I've been doing that for the last couple of years, and it seems to be a pretty good system. I think Phil should have no problem doing that at First Beach.
Well, all beaches, not just First Beach, Dave.
No, I'm just saying in general, that First Beach is an issue a little bit right now, so I would have no problem if you did that at First Beach.
I know some people say they do it because they're handicapped and they can't carry, but there are people that are handicapped and figure it out.
Right.
So
So then some people feel entitled. I'll say it.
Going
I'll
to-
say it. I'll say it. Some people feel entitled.
Yes, they do.
So. So again, I just want to enforce next year. I'm going to be looking at doing this, and I hope I have the board's approval, backing on this.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it in the spring again,
Well, we should have
When
talk. We should have to talk about it.
when it's fresh. Well, if it's something that
Right.
is in the rules and regs, because those are gonna be revisited,
Okay.
all of that.
Okay.
It is, isn't it?
The rules and regs, no, what I'm saying is,
It is
the
there.
rules and regs, hopefully through this winter, I mean, they haven't been visited since 2014. And if we're gonna put, references to policies and so forth, yeah, well,
Right.
we'll put whatever.
And then you do a resend to say, just reminding everyone in our
Yep.
opening packet, here's all your rules. And if you're short-term rental, it's going to double for you.
No, I have to.
That's good for
Lori,
That's good for prep.
Lori, let me just give you a little history on something. When we first started taking the boats off the beach, I was doing properties. They had been there for years. I mean, there was probably 150 boats all around the lake that had been there forever. And one guy's boat, we warned people, we told him, I threw his boat out, and he got mad at me. He says, why did you start following the rules now? And it's like, what do you mean, why did I start following the rules? The rules were always there. We notified people that we were going to start doing it. We did it.
Right. Well, they basically had a grace because nobody was enforcing it.
Right.
Really?
And that's what you're facing right now. People
Yeah.
feel like they can get away and do stuff, and they just have to be reminded that they can't do it.
I think the objective for us as a board is consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes with a lot of things. Just being consistent, can't do for one and not for the other. And
We're moving in the right direction.
okay, any more, Phil?
No, it's good. Close.
Anybody else have anything for Phil?
No.
Okay, technology. I do have a little bit on technology. The email addresses are going to be updated, and I didn't know if anybody had any questions on how that was going to work. And really, you're not even really going to totally know it. It doesn't, it kind of affects you, but it doesn't. So you'll be able to use, well, Phil, you're set up a little differently because you're already, your properties, but I'm going to add on to your properties right now. I'll add on your First Beach rep, whatever you are, 1 or 2. I don't know. I did it by date, like whoever's up next was 1 or 2. That's how I did it. And So you'll get an alias on that. So if you ever want to give somebody your email address, that's not, it'll still come into the same inbox.
Mhm.
Alias.
And then you'll also have Phil S at lakehaywardct.com still come into the same inbox.
Okay.
So if you ever change and there's a new property manager, those aliases will be the only thing that gets changed. It'll never be changed from properties at lakehaywardct.com.
Perfect.
And then your permissions and your folders
Right.
will all stay the same. The person just changes.
Yeah, I think we tried to do this quite a few times, I think, because I didn't want my name, put it as properties, because I'm not gonna do it all the time.
Right.
So that's why I said put properties.
Yeah, you were the one that,
This has been going on.
you were the one we knew how to do the easy way. Everybody else was like, okay, well.
Well, we discussed this and we were supposed to do it one way and it never finished. So I mean, there's a lot of unfinished business.
Right. So that is going to get finished.
Good.
And all of that's going to be done. And then, and then what I want to do with my now, because I'm using the president at whatever. So my old email address, I'm going to change that to be the admin at lakehaywardct.com. So that when that gets moved on to somebody else someday, which really needs to be a board member, that address has the keys to the
Good.
bill, to everything, because wait till I get what I get to next. So, so techie, we need a techie board member. So, that's the email part. The other thing, that we talked about a few meetings back was passwords, not email passwords. Nobody needs to know anybody's email passwords. More in particular, the Xfinity, I'll look into that, and the security system. The treasurer, the Liberty Bank password, and her Quicken laptop password, the webmaster, iPower, both his domain, lakehaywardct.com, and the website expense password, which Lisa may have that one. And then he uses WordPress, which is a website format. Those email, if we don't have those passwords and something happens to him, we will never, ever have lakehaywardct.com again. That domain goes bye-bye. So, and then QDS. So these particular passwords, I'm going to put in an encrypted folder on the drive, and only the officers will have access to them because they are the keys to the cash register.
Sure.
So if something, God forbid, happens to me or Lynn, one of the three of us will always have access to those passwords, but the doors and all that will leave where they are, like, you know, the other ones. But these are ones that really need to be in our possession somewhere, and we don't have them. Does anybody have anything to add or suggest or?
Sounds good.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about our webpage.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, did I just do that out loud? Sorry.
Emma's still on here as a board member? The new board members have not been added? Are you waiting to do that first? Okay.
Yes, so I'm gonna hit another technology thing. So I guess I can bring it up in technology, and Lisa, I'm looking at you too. Okay. So Lisa and I have been talking about, Google Meet and its robustness. It has the ability, which we are doing tonight, to transcribe. It has the ability to record. So we are recording and transcribing tonight. So there's no, you're not manual. She's manually doing it, but everything's being transcribed. So what I've asked Mike to do is take our Google Meet recording, put that on the website. He says he can do an MP3 file. That's like 20 years ago file. So that's not going to work, but we'll figure out how it will work. And that's the objective. It's technology. it's 2023.
Mhm.
We have it right here. Makes life really easy.
And I think with that, there's really no interpretation of,
Right.
what anyone says, who says it, and all of that. So I'm still taking notes. I still have the recording, just this recording, just in case this is not working the way that we think it's going to work. So this is my backup. But I think if we're able to take this recording and put this on the web, this is better than anything we've done in the past.
Mhm. The issue, and having worked with WordPress in past, I don't know if anyone else has,
A little bit.
so that it may be an issue with what WordPress can support in the level of WordPress that we've purchased.
So, all right, so we'll go back to what Evelyn, I think, was gonna hit up. And yes, I've been having some conversations about our website to a computer engineer architect. And we do have the ability to build another website, about $150. And then we do that, we can point our domain right to it. So there's never a blip, there's never a hiccup. And then we have a nice new website.
Do we know what platform it's using?
Not yet.
Okay.
But if we use WordPress, it would be $150.
I'm
And
just saying WordPress is not the easiest.
no, it's not. And
site to
actually,
work with.
right, and actually, it appears what was used for our original one in 2014, I think, it was just like a template that was.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's what people did.
right, I think we could do better, don't you?
I think that you can have the snazziest website you want.
Right.
If you're willing to pay. So I think it comes down to what we're willing to pay. And
Right,
what features we really need.
which is why it's important now to know what we're actually paying, which we still don't have a great beat on, but we will. So, yes, so was that kind of what you were getting at, Evelyn?
Yeah. Let them know.
Yeah, by all means.
So you and I talked about this and I haven't had time, but I will have time. On our webpage, resources,
Yes.
half these restaurants are closed. Town Tavern, new news.
Town Tavern's open again.
Same name? Wow.
In Buddhist.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, they moved.
but there's things vintage closed.
Understood.
There's stuff on here that isn't open. I would like to, and probably send an email to everybody once I've got some newer things, if that's okay with you guys,
Of course.
on here, like add the Inishmore.
Fornarelli's.
Fornarelli's, the new Mexican place.
Fresca? Is Fresca on there?
Fresca's not on here.
Oh, it's not like we have a whole lot of restaurants around. Really?
Paws and bones. We have a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're I think they didn't like Chinese restaurants because the only one on here is Ichabod.
So the committees and the board members need to be updated.
But I would also like to add, and I don't usually, I'll probably need input on this. I'd like to add 24-hour emergency places to go to.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Urgent care.
Urgent
Mhm.
cares that are
a really
24
good idea.
hours.
That's a real good idea.
Good idea.
That's a real good idea.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we have a couple
Hospitals.
of urgent things in town, but they're not open 24 hours, so.
There's
So-
hospital.
Are you kind of volunteering to be the liaison with Mike?
On that.
Okay, I was trying. I was trying.
I don't, the other stuff you're talking
Yeah.
about, creating a new website, I don't.
No, not that,
I'm
But I
clueless.
mean, like, once, So once the email blast goes out for the new committees and so forth, I want to send him a whole list of, these are the committees, like.
Okay.
Current and
Mhm.
all of that, because those aren't current either.
Yep.
All
I'll work with them on that.
right. So we'll put it together.
So just liaison.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think that's all I had on technology. I know it was a lot, I'm sorry. So, did anybody else have anything about technology?
Nope.
Thoughts on us recording?
I think it's a great idea.
Saves a lot of work. Well, I mean, if you look at the way the town does it too, they take, and we can do this, we have this availability too. We can take this, stream it to a YouTube and have it the way the town does it, but I just think that's just adding more. If we could take that and place it right on the website, so much cleaner. But we do have YouTube availability to do that. But the town does it like this.
Did we skip the tennis courts? Where are
We know
That's next.
they're next.
Oh, technology, never mind. Did we get to water testing? Never mind.
So anything else on technology or? Okay. Okay, tennis pickleballs. No chair here, I mean,
With Chris not here.
right.
Did we get everything we needed for him to move forward?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's all on the drive,
Contract has been signed.
all on the drive. Everything everybody asked for, every question everybody asked for on the drive.
Okay.
Paperwork, insurance, Connecticut, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get on their schedule. I don't know when now, but they will let us know. I asked her like 3 times. And they'll let us know in, she said they make their schedule for the spring, early winter. So the next couple months we'll know what their plans are, I guess.
I got asked the other day if all the people down there playing pickleball were actually Lake Hayward residents, because there was a lot of people.
Were they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's over
Yeah.
60 people. It keeps growing.
yeah, they asked if you letting people from the town come in. I said, not as far as I know,
It's-
but
it is.
we get a lot of people.
It's the biggest sport nationwide.
I know,
right
we're
now.
watching tournaments.
Evelyn,
They all
Evelyn.
Yeah.
There are people who are not Lake Hayward people playing, but they're invited guests, like a friend of somebody to come. They're not just random people from town.
Yeah, the question was open to the public.
No.
No.
Which I
Oh.
said no.
Yeah. And by the way, congratulations, Dave. I heard
Oh,
you got
thank you.
You're welcome. Dave got an award for most improved player.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. That and 50 cents, I might get a cup of coffee somewhere, but I'm good with it. It was appreciated.
That was nice. You got a trophy too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Great.
It was cool. I
That's
mean, it's fun. Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And water testing. Oh, you know what? Should reach out to Lisa. I'm sure Lisa Long. I'm sure she'll. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna ask her if she'd still like to do the water testing. Anybody have anything on water testing?
Except for this year we had. Good year.
And then there's other, but there's nothing in other. Does anybody have any other?
No?
Okay. Unfinished business. We already talked about the minutes and Google Meet. Does anybody else have anything unfinished? I did want to talk about, I re-listened to the audio and I know that we talked about a gift for Hema and that there was a matrix going to come up and everything, but time is kind of going by and I think we should do something for Hema.
I agree. I
So
was the one that brought it up.
I know, and I think that having a matrix is great, but I think,
We need to do something now.
yeah, it's
We can have a matrix for
Why does
future.
everything have to be so complicated?
because it was brought up by, that's what makes us a board, right? It was brought up by another member who wanted to do that and thought it was best practice.
I agree.
So,
For the future.
yes,
Can we do?
Lori,
something?
what are you looking for? A motion to do something?
for HEMA, yeah.
I don't know what's appropriate, $50, $100, I don't know, a gift certificate to a restaurant or something.
Do we know what was given to Jason and Lee?
I'm sorry?
You'd have to ask Kath, I don't know.
Or we can ask Lisa to look.
Do we know what
Was given to
Jason
Jason and Lee?
and Lee got?
No, I have no idea.
Did Kathy get the gifts, Phil?
Excuse me?
Was Kathy the one that procured the
Past
gifts?
president then. Oh, she did? Oh,
You'd have to ask Kath. I'm not,
Okay.
I
That's fine. No,
don't
no.
want to
you
speak for
guys
us.
weren't at the dinner, so.
I mean, we live together, but we don't talk to each other, so I don't know.
Yeah, no,
What do you want me to
some-
say?
And is this board money or is it individual?
Yeah, it's not a
Or, yeah,
hospitality.
It's not
yeah.
hospitality.
I know for a fact that they got Ed Bader a gift.
Yes, wind chimes.
Whether he actually got it, we don't know.
Well, we'll assume he got it.
No, he did. He did. Yeah.
But when we went to dinner last year, not sure, we were at Fornarelli's, were you and Kath there?
No.
Cause Cindy had the gifts and Lee and Jason totally forgot about the dinner, so I don't know what was given.
All right. We can ask. I'll ask.
Should
But-
be written somewhere, no?
Yeah. Well, I'll ask treasurer, because it would be in hospitality for
Right.
events back then.
It was last year.
Yeah, still last year it would be from events, because this is the first year we yanked that out, or that it's affected. Yeah. So, all right, so I'll have Lisa look or I'll ask House President and Kathy.
Is it over?
I'll ask treasurer and I'll ask past president.
Well, yeah, you'll have to move quick
Yeah,
because I saw them last Friday. They were down at the Polish Club. They're on their way to Dublin. They're gonna spend a week in Ireland. They're gonna come back and head off to North Carolina. So
Multicultural. From the Polish Club to Ireland.
that's so cool. I hope when I'm his age that I am as active and as
so cool.
robust as he is.
yes,
God bless him.
You're a sweet man.
Yeah,
yes.
he is. Okay, so where'd Dave go? There he is.
I'm right here.
I don't know that we really need a motion to agree to give him a gift. I mean,
Okay. That's fine.
we're a small board that, I mean, we're,
I agree. Whatever we're gonna do, we need to do it fast, though.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So my guesstimation is somewhere between $50 and $100. I know that we gave the past president $100, so my guess is somewhere in there.
I'm good with that. Why don't we say a maximum of $100? Anything up to $100, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
You good with
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Very good. Okay, we're all good with that. Okay. When is he leaving?
He's probably going to be out of here. I'm thinking like, well, water turns off. He's a year round, but when water turns off, he'll be gone.
So that's middle of November.
Mid-November, the show.
But try to aim for the beginning of November.
Yeah, well, I'll try to aim for ASAP.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
But he said that they were leaving for Ireland like this coming week. And they would be gone for a week. And then they were coming
Oh,
back,
that's, okay. I see that.
packing up, and then heading out.
Okay, I
By
see.
the end of this month.
Yeah. So they enter the end of the month or the beginning of November.
Just mail it to his house in North Carolina.
I have the address.
They're all on constant contact.
Right, it's not.
No, it's great. No, it's a great resource
Right.
for us. The only thing that's hard is when another member says, hey, can I have so-and-so's phone number, so-and-so's address? And you're like,
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
Yeah. Okay, so That's all I had for unfinished business. Anybody have anything else?
I hate to keep harping on Facebook, but I wish, and Chris doesn't really use it, but we need to stress that on that Lake Hayward page, post that don't get involved with snarky comments. Does that make sense? Do you
So,
understand what I'm trying to say?
yes, and I'm gonna do that in new business a little bit.
I'll leave it alone.
We're almost there, Beth. And I'm sorry, I did have one quick little thing on the property dispute. Still gathering information. And it's nothing that I can't say.
I was gonna say.
I met with Rob Wright. He requested that a while ago. And so we'll have a discussion and or an FOI protected email. Yes. It's legal.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah. This is legal for
I
us.
did FOI at the health center for 10 years. I had never heard of a protected, not when they're public emails like this. Not public, but
We have the right, well, do you think the conversations I have with the attorney are FOI?
No, they're not.
Those have a confidential signature on the bottom. It's meant for the intended person only. And that's what everybody will get.
Mhm.
That will not be
It'll have the
available.
disclaimer on it.
Yes. So it will not be available to the public should they ask. So when you get that email, should you get any emails with that on it, put it in a folder or what have you. That's,
Don't forward it.
don't forward it, don't share it, don't anything it.
I'm not comfortable with that.
It's,
Not that I'm gonna forward it or share it with anybody. It's just after doing it for so long, I'm not comfortable with it.
I get you. I get you. But I mean, it's a means of us communicating. I look at it, we meet 11 times a year, and out of those 11 times, 2 of them are about the meetings, you know, the June meeting and the August meeting. So that leaves 9 meetings. We have a lot on our plate. We have a lot of tasks on our plate. They're important. They're not, you know, they're not, well, we can do that later. Or we really need to, you know, between the short-term rentals and the property dispute and
Okay.
the list is long. I want to make you comfortable, Evelyn, and
I'm not gonna be comfortable with it, but I will go along with
I
it.
understand, believe me, I understand your concern because that's why I've been saying, if you don't want it seen, don't write it. If you don't want it heard, don't say it. However, like I said, when I get emails from the attorney, those are not for any of the public to ever see. They have a disclaimer on the bottom. And we need to have a means of being able to do that.
Mhm.
And it's not just for, you know, board stuff, it's for stuff that goes into executive sessions, stuff that's legal.
Okay.
And even the emails that I have sent from the attorney to the board, those no chair.
Mhm.
Ever.
It's got nothing to do with sharing. It's if somebody asks.
They cannot see the
The only
attorney's
thing that
email.
we can redact is personal information like a street at somebody's home address or their social security number or the date of birth.
Or if it has a disclaimer on the bottom, you do not show that. Absolutely, it's for the intended person only. Only.
It's been court tested. We have to do, we use it pretty regularly with board information where I work as well.
We have
And
the
it is a
Attorney
very-
General's office right next to mine. We were not allowed.
All I'm telling you is there's a way.
If they requested FOI from physicians, medical emails, you gave it to them without social security numbers.
Yeah, but you can't just give out health information, HIPAA laws. You have, the person has to sign.
HIPAA laws, but I'm talking when there was chairman of the Department of Medicine, the VP dean, this chief financial officers. The only thing we couldn't give out.
Well, if it makes you more
Only-
comfortable, already did ask the attorney, but I'll ask him to put it in writing. How we can do it, that makes you more
Yeah,
comfortable.
it would.
Okay,
It just goes against my.
So can I just ask, what are we getting put in writing?
Dave, were you trying to say something?
No, I'm just thinking we need to move along. It's getting long in the tooth.
So any more unfinished business? Are we good with that?
No.
New business, I wanted to mention onboarding committee, and I think it should be somebody from the Board of Governors. It doesn't have to be a committee. It could be a person. It could be anybody that develops. And I could show you one of the books. Well, I don't have one, but I think it's something that should come out of hospitality. I think every board member should get the current book of Robert's Rules. The current always supersedes anything that's older. I think that they should get basic information. So I'm just putting it out there for thought.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Robert's Rules is a big thing to read.
yes,
It
it
is.
is.
Don't they have like cliff notes or something? You know, something that's, you know, for the average stupid person to understand?
They actually have Robert's Rules for Dummies. My 8-year-old granddaughter reads it.
There you go. I mean, you know, I'm all for giving them that information, but I think if you give them Robert's Rules, they're gonna say, "What the heck is this?" You know, we need to make it user friendly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a couple of different books, Dave. There's
Yeah, that's my suggestion is just let's make it easy, make it
shortcuts.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah, but something, just, and I'm not, hopefully somebody will take that on and, I'd be happy to share it was basically the bylaws, the rules and regs, what happens when a president, vice president, and a secretary vacate or whatever. It was basic information.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah, but stuff to know. And then I think like maybe some kind of brief guideline on how the board
Operates.
Yeah.
So as a new member, I asked for onboarding, because I needed it.
Hmm.
So like I still need it. So I would work on that.
Okay.
I can take that, but
That's great.
I might reach out to folks with questions
Awesome.
too. But,
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
mhm.
And then, last but not least on my list is, I know you all got the email on the code of conduct. And I'm open to comments. I think all three of us, got together in the officers meeting and said, let's build a basic structure, put it out to the board, have everybody comment on it. But it's something that I think, we all agreed on that we should institute. So I don't know if anybody has any comments now.
Yeah. When we talked about it, we talked about it being really a pledge to each other,
Yes.
to support each other and have each other's backs. And, I think that it can't hurt.
It's so that we can, yes, pledge to be accountable to each other. The membership has elected us to represent them.
I think, and again, I'm new, but I think this board and everyone on it has a responsibility to uphold for ourselves and for our community or for the association. So if we don't have anything currently in place, I think we need to have something in place that speaks to that.
And that was also another bylaw reference. So we'd like to put that in the bylaws, that the code of conduct is signed by every board. However, every board has the option to revise, update, what have you. But it's something that should be in the bylaws. Something that's looked at and referenced to, and as another policy.
Yeah, I know that I sent, for example, my company, we have code of conduct. We have an ethics code. We have a culture objective, and I send all of those to Lisa to start putting together. But that's just It's the way we operate these days, so why not?
So here's from Lynn, so I have it here. This was from Hartford Healthcare, which is where I work. So I think I'd like it to be in plain language, very simple language. I don't think it needs to be 24 pages like some of these are.
They're going down as I will.
Right.
It's a lot.
So, yeah,
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. You know, you talk about those, you know, you bring up those two, the big corporations. We're a little late there.
yeah, we are,
You know,
exactly.
it's a little late. You know,
Which makes it that much more important that we're accountable to each other.
well, yeah.
Because we are small and we need to be,
We know we have issues.
well,
We know we have issues. We know it.
we're trying to keep it on the positive side.
And I agree with you. I agree.
Trying to move forward
Exactly.
and represent our
It's
community.
not hard. It's not hard.
Right,
But you're not wrong, Phil. These are corporate.
right.
And so I
Yeah.
really want to do some research and but there's really good pieces in here.
I mean, you know,
That
everybody
we
gets a
can-
group hug. It's easy. Group hug. I've been saying it for years.
So that's
Group
it.
hug,
That's a code of conduct,
you know,
group hug or bust. Right?
so.
Next. Todd,
Sorry.
anybody got anything?
I'm good.
Anybody got anything? You have more?
One more question. Are the meeting dates set on the calendar?
You know, I haven't looked. I have to look.
Second? One day of the month, right?
We had a calendar and I don't know
Are
what's
those
going
dates
on.
we're sticking to? Because you were.
I think that's what we agreed on.
Okay.
I can send out and make sure, but I think that's what we agreed on.
Okay, no, I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Because they're on the calendar and I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I am willing to have it at my house if you want an alternative to rotate. That's what,
Well, we
We
have you
did.
on February. I know that.
oh, I am on for February?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Well, and you can, no, it
I
came
know.
out in the thing.
No, I
I
remember,
think Kathy sent it out.
I remember the emails and saying I would do it, but then we were Tuesdays, Thursdays, so I'm just making sure.
Make sure Dennis makes something. for us.
Yeah, no, Kathy sent it out. She sent it out and where they were.
Okay.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure I have it, so.
Why did I get this?
you
Well,
did.
that's, I just took a screenshot. And I put it in my photos
I've got it
for
somewhere.
ready reference.
Here I
Which should
am,
probably be
February.
a
Yeah,
page-
But
a
see
page
here,
in the
your
onboarding book.
screenshot. Dates. So we're sticking to the second Monday.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody agreed on.
Yes.
Here.
We make a motion. Can I make a motion to
We're done?
be done?
To adjourn.
Well, as long as Evelyn's done.
Yes, I mean. How can I see it?
See, I even printed it. It's official.
Oh. Should just scan it, but there,
Here you go, girl.
thank you.
Dave, miss you being here.
By spring, huh?
Yeah, you'll see me in the spring.
3D in the
Yes.
spring.
Move it.
I know
That's
you.
it.
I made a motion.
Well, Evelyn was still talking. We didn't want
Oh.
to cut her off. No, it's okay. No, you're
I had the
Make a
meeting
motion
dates.
to end this meeting.
to adjourn.
I second.
Yeah, whatever. Thank you, guys.
Have a
It was great.
good
Night, all. Thank you.
Bye.
Stay there.
Oh, my God.
Come on, you want some?
The doggy.
Here, let me bring this up.
How did I miss that? The meeting date.
Here.